Right.
Go for it.
So, guys, we're here for a new episode on YYSocial. We have Ms.Teaze. Real name is Tamra Nash. Super lucky. I actually got a reach out on the DMs on the Instagram to get me reinvigorated back into the program. So we're going to start off with some icebreakers here. So
Yeah.
that I never start with the icebreakers, so I want to get into them. So pizza or pasta?
Pizza or pasta? A pizza. Come on, man.
And why? Why?
Pizza
I agree.
is the staple. It's one of my favorite foods. My last meal, if I was in prison, would probably be pizza. Yeah.
My pizza is my favorite, and that's why
Nice.
it's on there.
Yeah.
I just think you can put so much on there. It can be a vegetarian, can be all meats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can do anything to pizza these days. That's why I love it. It's beautiful.
Do you like basketball?
Do I like basketball? I love basketball.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Kobe or Jordan?
Ooh, now you're hitting me with the questions that
I
I
know.
shouldn't be
Well,
answering.
I almost said Kobe or LeBron or Jordan, but I'm like, everybody makes those
Right,
comparisons.
totally. I'm gonna go with more Kobe because that's what I grew up with. Michael Jordan is, the god. He is the best player in the world. But I grew up more watching Kobe, and now I'm watching Michael. But that was, back in the day, and watching his highlights. But Kobe, rest in peace. And his death hit me hard too. So I must have some connection with him because I'm still not over his death. Like that just really rocked me to the core.
Well, he was just so inspirational, and it doesn't matter what it was. You can transition that from basketball to rap to creating music. Like, it really doesn't matter, right?
Yes, but Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Let's not forget
he is
that.
He came up from the metal chain basketball courts, right?
Yeah.
So you got to respect that.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I love that documentary, The Last Dance, man. That was so dope.
Oh yeah.
It really made you realize how great he was, and I just love that documentary. I thought it was really good for people to kind of get to know Michael Jordan more if you don't know. So definitely watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode and it was really good, and they made all the memes, and it's like, and I took that personally.
Why'd you take it personally?
Yeah. That was so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one I have here is Tupac or Eminem.
I see no changes. I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch.
So
Tupac.
We got the answer there. And okay, so current most influential rapper and why? And it's got to be like non-biased. Like, who do you think?
Like, so current, because I do have my
current most influential rapper who's really, essentially influenced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think?
The number one influential rapper that has always been, my top is Tupac. So that's who motivates me. For current, still alive,
Yeah.
Nas, Jadakiss, those are my top two. And Nas is that's how I started doing hip hop. I kept listening to Hate Me Now, and on my Discman, remember those Discmans back in the day? And that's all I listened to. I replayed it every day after school, and I was like, man, I want to become a rapper, and that song motivated me, so I gotta go with Nas, man. Like, that's the guy.
Nice.
Yeah
Illmatic, when that dropped, he was only 19 years old.
Yes, I know.
And that's got to be one of the all-time best albums for rap.
One of the best. Yes, absolutely.
I think it might have been his best album.
It was his best.
Maybe it's because of how impressive it was for somebody to do it that age that it's hard to top.
Yes.
Because he made amazing music afterwards, right?
He did, yeah. He's
probably
just the top dog.
In my opinion, at least top 5 or top 3 best lyricists of all time.
Hands down.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who do you think won? And this is, you have to be unbiased as well, because one's a pop star, right? And the other one's a lyricist.
Okay.
Who do you think won the war, and who do you think won the battle on Drake versus Kendrick this year?
I'm going to go with, first of all, they're both amazing artists, and I love them both.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with Kendrick. He definitely changed the landscape on that. I mean, he brought, some gang members together as well with his concert.
Yeah.
which was very important for the culture.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can do that. That alone, not even the song, we'll take the song right out of the equation. That alone was huge for Compton, LA. I mean, we heard about it, but you had to have been there type deal.
Yeah.
And Drake is our Canadian homie, right? Like
Yeah.
he's always been number one. Nobody, can touch him. I don't care what anyone says. What drives me crazy is how people counted him out just because Kendrick won.
I know.
That to me, like, come on now. Drake is untouchable. Like,
well, we missed a whole
untouchable.
summer worth of beats.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot, everybody. Oh, the beef
Yeah.
in here now. But Drake's gonna come harder. Trust me, he ain't stopping. And I think that one day they're gonna come together. They're gonna surprise everyone and just boom. It's gonna be on YouTube, and there'll be a song with both of them
Khaled
together.
will bring a big
DJ
album.
Khaled. Yeah, he'll be the one. He's already making the call,
Yeah,
for them. Hey,
he's
come
setting
on,
it up.
guys, let's squash the beef, man. I got a wicked beat for both of you guys to be on. Let's do it.
He's trying to beat Metro Boomin for the last couple of years.
I know, yeah.
It's like my time to shine.
yeah, let's go. Yeah, so I
They
think,
don't want us to win.
yeah. I think truly they're going to just shock the world and come together because I know they're both hurting deep down, and especially because Drake's bodyguard was hit with a bullet.
That's
and, right. I know Kendrick didn't have anything to do with it, but, there was fans out there that wanted, to catch some clout.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? I mean, that goes for any... when you're like a big star like that,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just your fans that it's just like with politics too. It's like it's not even the politicians doing it; it'll be like their fans. Or
Exactly.
whatever, right?
Yeah,
Do crazy
and
stuff.
ride or die people. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Kendrick. He won the beef. However, Drake is still the guy, man. He's the guy, and I love them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely a big moment, and it was like
in
fairly
hip-hop.
relevant. So I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, it was very big in hip hop, and everybody's talking about it. So podcast, cheers to that. But yeah, you got to listen to Young Buck's new song, old member from G Unit. He's speaking. I just heard it the other day, and in his raps, he's like, "I don't want to hear about no Drake and Kendrick beef." It's pretty dope. So check that song out. Young Buck's pretty dope.
Let me write this down.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Young Buck.
Yeah. What about the song?
It's called, I forget the name, but just check out
search it up.
Young Buck new song.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you. So I've written down a few of your artists that you'd opened up for, and I just wanted to hear a bit more about your experiences with them, or if you got to speak with them, or whatever that you had throughout that time.
Yeah.
So I've got a list here. Lloyd Banks, Jadakiss, Sean Kingston.
Yeah.
Everybody used to vibe with all those guys back in the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
right? Everybody loves those guys.
Yeah.
Tech Nine,
Yeah.
amazing lyricist. Obi Trice, we got Hobson, and then you also opened at the Stampede for Ja Rule. Is that right?
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's just to list a few. Honestly, I've got way more that I've done in my career, in my 12-year career, but those are the ones that stand out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ones would you say?
What's the biggest?
Yeah, there's got to be like a couple that made you feel extra special.
Well, I'll tell you why. The Lloyd Banks one was huge, and actually I got to open up for him twice. So my first hip hop concert that I've ever been to, that my mother took me and my two brothers, it was G Unit, and it was the whole group when they were together. So this is when I was like, I think I was 18 years old. It was my very first hip hop concert. And my mom took us, and it was like amazing to watch them on stage. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw G Unit. Like, I was buzzing.
Yeah.
So years went by, and a promoter in Alberta was bringing Lloyd Banks. And I said, oh, wouldn't it be a dream to get on that show and just call my mom up and say, yo, we're going to, a special show. And so I contacted the promoter, and he, I sent him my submission, my press kit, and the promoter got back to me and he says, yeah, I'd like to have you on the show. And I just freaked out. So I called my mom up and I said, Mom, I need you to be ready on November 2nd. It was actually November 2nd. I'll never forget the day. And I said, we're going to a concert. I'm performing, and just dress up in your nicest outfit, get your makeup. And she's like, okay, I'm ready. And we're getting there to Edmonton, and he came out, and well, I came out before him, opening up for him, and my mom couldn't believe it when she walked in. She's like, "You're opening for Lloyd Banks?" And I said, "Yes, I am, Mom."
So
and
cool.
She started crying, and I said, "Isn't that a full circle moment of her bringing us to G Unit, and now your daughter is opening up for Lloyd Banks?" So we got to meet him, we got to chill with him, and she's got pictures, I got pictures too. He's as cool as you think he is. They do say not to meet your idols because they could be tired, they could be hungry,
Right.
whatever. They've been there, done that. So when I do meet anyone that I grew up listening to, I make sure that I do my research on them, and I don't just say, "Oh, I love that song," I love this song. I say, "Yo, how's your kids? How's Joe? How's Timothy?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yo, you're doing that Broadway show?" Like, "What? How'd you know that?" So I do my research. I did the same with Ja Rule there recently in the summer. So that was a full circle moment for me to phone the family up and say that I was open up for a G Unit member.
That's
and
so cool.
I absolutely love Lloyd Banks. So yeah, I've been so blessed opening up for these big names, and that one really stood out.
Well, that's pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
When you have those like super proud moments and your like family's involved, that
Yes.
also like kicks
It's
home
huge.
so much harder.
It's huge.
So you also had a couple of like like Lloyd is like feel good music. Same with Jadakiss and Sean Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at Hobson and Tech Nine. Those are less dancey type artists.
Yeah.
What were
for sure.
your experiences and opinions on those shows?
Yeah, those were Tech Nine. He's one of the biggest independent artists. So he makes all his money from selling merch. In fact, he's probably, out of all the hip hop artists that are independent, he sells the most merch. Like he's a hustler, him and Chris Calico. And they go on tour, they make their own money, and I have so much respect for the hustle. And I've got to open up for them twice. And it was a hometown show, Thanksgiving, and it was packed. Like, you bring Tech Nine to your city, it's going to be sold out. And these guys like to party too. So we had some fun on the bus there, and they're just amazing performers, and they create their own merch, and that's how they like buy their houses. Like, they sell millions and millions of dollars worth of merch. Like, they're the number one independent
That's so
guys.
cool.
So people have a lot of respect for them, including myself. So when I got to open up for them the second time, it was huge. And I remember saying to them, "Can you please watch my performance?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'll catch you, shorty, if I got time."
Yeah, of course.
And they did. And I said, "What did you think about it?" They're like, "Damn, you are so dope." And I was just buzzing for like a month because of that. So
I would be too.
yeah.
I would still be buzzing.
Oh yeah, I still am. Yeah. And so that was pretty dope. Tech Nine and is just, I have so much respect for them, and so does a lot of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now I kind of wanted to actually ask you what got you into rapping in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's an interesting story. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Travis Ullman. Missy Elliott and Timbaland, they've been working together for many years. That would be my relationship with Travis Ullman.
Okay.
He has worked with me since day one. I was working at a call center, AT&T, and Travis was across from me. And I didn't really know him much. And I said, "Yeah, I would love to rap." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I like rapping too." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'd love to record. Would you record a song?" And he's like, "You record?" Like, because it's unheard of for females to be rapping. Right? And I said, "Trust me. When you hear me, you're going to trust me. You're going to love it. Just give me that chance."
Yeah.
And he did give me that chance. And I recorded at his house. And since that day, it's history. We have been working together since. So
Wow.
12, 13 years. He does all my graphics. He does all my sets. He does everything. Like, he is my guy. And like, if I ever get famous or a record deal or whatever, I don't want to be famous, but let's just say record deal, or maybe let's say blessed. he's getting blessed too as well. So he's stuck by me, and he's also a hip hop artist too, and he's also a designer. He's a man of many talents, and everybody just loves him because he's real, and he is just one of the realest friends you can have. So I want to give a shout out to him for sure. That's who started, that's who believed in me, because the door was shut in my face a lot of times when I used to hand out my mixtapes, my little demos with 3 songs on it. And I would have like CD cases I'd buy at the dollar store, and I would just draw a little cool album art, and then I would print it off and then just put them in the sleeves and hand them out. And then when
That's
DJs
cool.
came to Red Deer, I would give it to them, and they're like, what's this, And I said, hey, let me perform, one day. And they're just like, oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
and
like it's like a business card.
And I loved it that they all said no, because it's like, oh, yeah, you want to say no? Cool.
Fuel for the fire, right?
Exactly. You have to have that fuel for fire.
You do.
And so I started out with that. And then I started listening to Hate Me Now, Nas and Puff Daddy. I don't want to say Puff Daddy.
He's had so many names over the years.
Yeah, whatever. But
P. Diddy,
he's
Puff
done
Daddy.
a lot. I know he's in trouble now, but he's done a lot for the hip hop culture. And he and Nas made that beautiful song, Hate Me Now. And I just replayed it on my little Discman every time I got home from school. So then I'd take the headphones off, get my coat on, go for a walk, and I would just rap down the trails, the King Canyon trails of Red Deer. And I would do that every night. And people would be like coming around the corner like, who is she talking to? And I'd just be rapping. I'm like, man, I'm going to make it one day. I'm going to put a rap, song together, and I'm going to do it. And then it was over. I started putting on my own shows. I started recording more and gaining respect through the local scene. And then I started getting more respect from local promoters and like as a must-have performer, because they're like, damn, this girl is fire on stage. And I was pretty much one of the must-have performers in Alberta, like always just, hey, Ms.Teaze got to be on that bill still till this day. So I'm pretty proud of how far I come, but I got to shout out my boy Travis Oman.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I find, or I found personally when I started the podcast, as well as my software marketing business.
Yes.
You have to be willing to put yourself out there in a vulnerable position.
You do.
And people will make fun of you. People will hate on you.
Oh, yeah.
People will criticize. But unless you're willing to go through that rough, you'll never get to the other side.
That's right. You got to have tough skin in this business, because especially being a female in a male-dominated industry, you will get ripped.
My next question, actually.
You'll get ripped to shreds, man, if you don't have tough skin in this business.
Yeah. So
Serious.
Can you tell me a bit more about that? So that's what I wanted to know, obviously. Traditionally, men are rappers. Even white people are typically not rappers.
True.
So tell me about your experience. Tell me about some of the obstacles you face with that.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
So many people may not know, but I'm mixed with black and Lebanese. My family is black. And so it is, like I said, it's hard in a male-dominated. Oh, no, it's all good. I have to just remind people, because I do look white, but I do got those roots in me. Those beautiful roots, I will say.
Of course.
Yes. Like I said, you've got to have tough skin in this male-dominated industry, because A, you're going to have people jealous of you. B, you're going to have people think that you cannot rap. So you got to work 10 times harder. And C, you've got to be humble, because if you act cocky and, think you're the shit, you got to have a little bit of cockiness, just to kind of shield yourself from people that are, typical assholes in this industry.
Right.
But I've been accepted. I mean, it's like, it'll be like you being the only basketball player in your city of Calgary where you live. People are going to turn to you and look at you because you're the only basketball player. And if you're good, then they're going to really focus on you. So being the only female hip hop artist in Red Deer for so many years, I've broken so many barriers. I've done documentaries on the hip hop scene. Was the first female artist to release a CD, first female artist to be in the paper, first of everything. So when I do die, I hope that maybe my name stays alive if somebody would like to, come up in the hip hop scene as a female artist, that they can say, hey, there's a girl named Ms.Teaze, you know, because when I'm 90, I'll be in the old folks home, you know, like, yo, I got to open up for that. And I'm like, woo, I'll be still rapping in that old folks home. But, you know, you got to have tough skin. I just want to say to people starting out, even, you know, as you get more popular, those comments on YouTube, worse, right? The comments, like, you know, that's why you got to really have tough skin. You got to ignore the hate. And you got to have people you trust in this industry, and that's all you need.
Well, sometimes the hate will be hard to get over, I'm sure, especially someone of your like status. You probably have a lot more viewers than I have. So what do you think gets you through that? Like what, like, because obviously I'm sure there's some days it would bother you more than others.
Sure, we're human.
Right?
Yeah,
so
we're human.
What is it that you kind of like come back to as kind of like a
shield,
or kind of like a reminder that it doesn't matter?
Well, like I said, we are human beings. We feel, especially myself, I've got a big heart, so I feel, but I also got a tough heart, and that's from all the obstacles I've been through in life and the trauma. And I actually thank the trauma I've been through because it has built invaluable strength for me to read the comment and say, listen, motherfucker, when you see me, you better be telling me that to my face, because a lot of people are scared and they're just behind the keyboard acting tough because they're jealous, and that's most of the time. They're just jealous. I mean, you look at Glorilla. She's a female hip hop artist. I was watching an interview on her, and she literally just, her fame just went skyrocket, and I love her music. And she said that when she first came out, the hate was so hard. She had to go through like therapy and stuff like that.
Really?
Because it really hit her. But now she got like really tough skin because she's around people that, you know, like Yo Gotti, who's been in the industry for years, and that can teach her, man, you got to ignore that hate. It's hard to, but what I suggest is just write a song about it, you know, write a song about, you know, the hate, or write a song about somebody that may be pissing you off. Have a little bit of a battle like Drake and Kendrick. I don't know if somebody is really out there. That's, you know, and when I get mad, I always tell people, don't piss me off because I might write a song about you.
And it might just get famous.
Yeah. So be careful, you know.
I might just make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful. Like I said, my attitude is, you hurt me or my family or my friends or people I love, I will kill you and I will pay for your funeral. That's my style. That's
I like it. I like it.
Just to get perspective.
I'm kind of like that too. I just try and hide it.
Okay. Look, you got Dexter here.
Yeah. So so I have a couple other ones. So of course, so if you were to almost like onboard somebody that you were like to train, to take under your wing, something like that, what would kind of be like the first steps you would take with them or suggest to them if they're on their own to kind of like bypass some of the struggles that you had to go through, or at least kind of like support their confidence going into this mission?
Yeah. I've heard from people that I've mentored them, and it's not so much even in hip hop, just kind of like the words that are in my songs. They say, oh, it's helped me get through some dark days, and I love that. That's my favorite part of being a hip hop artist, and is more valuable than money. And you can't buy. These are the kind of things that money can't buy. Is when someone says, hey, you saved my life. I listened to your song, and it was so inspirational. If I was mentoring, which I just wish there was more female hip hop artists. We've got a few, I think, on the come up. But if I was mentoring, I would do everything that helped me succeed. So I would do everything that I needed when I was coming up. So I would help them get shows. I would, you know, kind of lift them up. But then once they're kind of lifted, they got to push on their own. Yeah,
because otherwise, if you do the whole thing for them, they won't. You're actually kind of robbing them of that feeling of achievement too,
Absolutely, right? Yeah, that's a good point. And so you know, you can help people out. You can do everything, but like the saying goes, you can't lead a horse to water.
Right.
Yeah. So
teach them how to fish.
And right? You give a man a
a life's worth of meals.
Yeah, for
Something
sure.
like
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
That quote actually, because it's true. And there's, I tend to surround myself with people that have the same hustle as me. Because, like I said, you hang around with losers, you're going to be a loser.
Yeah, absolutely.
You hang around with people that, are hustlers, inspired, always trying to, get to the next level, then you're going to become that. So you are who you surround you with. And I would never surround myself with someone that is just bitching and crying every day and like, oh, my life sucks. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I've seen the victim mentality in those things, and I just stay away from those kind of people. Yes, you can help them, but they got to help themselves, those kind of people.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, but I think personally 90% of the time, because I've been through a lot of these struggles that people complain about.
Yeah.
And so I know for a fact that you can overcome those obstacles if you actually are willing to try.
Absolutely.
But it seems like you're just looking to complain.
Yes.
So if you're only looking to complain over and over and over again, that's negative aura in my energy, and I need to keep elevating my presence.
That's right.
So if it's not being with somebody else, then I just need to be on my own.
And that's where I'm at right now. I can't be drained of my energy. When you get up to your 40s, you ain't got time for that kind of shit. In today's world, been there, done that, seen it. And like I said, you are who you hang out with. So if you hang out with people that are crying every day on Facebook, and then, or, crying about their boyfriend, and then the next day they're with them, stay the fuck away from me, please. And stop that shit on Facebook saying, oh, I'm having the worst day ever. And everyone's like, well, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I'm not saying. And then I'm looking in the comments, well, what's wrong? And they don't say anything. Like, they're looking for attention.
Yeah.
And I mean,
there's a lot better ways to get it.
Absolutely, and I get it though. Some people are seeking connection, and they can kind of, that's seeking
maybe.
connection is seeking attention. So I get that kind of part, but like I said, back to the question of mentoring, if I was mentoring someone, I would do everything, like I said, that I can, that I needed the support from, to get up to where I am now. But as long as they have the hustle in them, that's it.
And what do you think in general? So, for example, my sister and my mom are like high professionals in their field, and it took quite a while and a lot of effort to get there, because those are male dominant industries that they're in as well.
Yes.
One of them is in gaming, one of them is in software.
Wow. Yes.
So, what would your types of, because I've heard them say some really empowering things that sound great.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what your suggestions would be when, you were to try and motivate or inspire somebody who is like another girl, another woman who's looking to dive into some industry that's a little bit more run by men, for example.
So my advice would be, kick the fucking door down. That's what my advice would be. I don't give a shit who the fuck is behind those doors or what male. I don't give a shit. Kick the door down and know that good people bring out the good in people. So if you got an asshole running the thing, fuck off. Get out of my way, man. I'm here to do my thing. And that's what I would say, because it doesn't matter. You're going to have whatever they're thinking of you. I don't know. But you got to kick that. You got to have the confidence. You really do. And like I said, in that male industry that's dominated, you got to kick those motherfucking doors down. That's
I love it,
man. Yeah, you
and
do.
So when you were up in Red Deer, and you were saying that you were like the first female in the paper, first female rapper, etc. Did you almost find maybe that could have been advantageous in some times, because you had found yourself a new market that nobody could compete with you in?
Yes, I did. I felt like, ooh, I'm going to run with this. Yeah, and I did run with it. And it was beautiful. And man, it was a really nice time in the hip hop scene in our city, because we had so much unity that everybody just supported everybody, and they didn't care who it was, a female doing it. And, it's pretty big for a female to help produce a documentary on all the hip hop artists in Red Deer, and them trusting me and doing this. It also got screened at the theater that we have there. And that was another great moment in my career, seeing the movie theater filled up, and seeing my family and friends clapping at the end of the documentary, and that just made my heart
just explode.
Oh, it did.
That's
and
amazing.
It was beautiful. And so that, to me, I got a little taste of, okay, I got to keep going. And so I used to bring shows, like I brought Hobson and Swiss to Red Deer, and that was a funny story too. Riders, people have riders, they ask for whatever they want. Well, the cool thing was Hobson and Swiss back in the day, they only had about 1,000 YouTube views at the moment, and the promoter said, trust me, book them now because they're going to be huge. And I'm like, I don't know. So I looked at their videos. I'm like, wow, this guy's amazing. Hobson, wow. I've never heard someone, he's like Eminem, but his own style. And so they said it was 2,000 to book the show in Red Deer, and I swear I only had $2,100. And I'll tell you what's funny. I gave $2,000 to the promoter to pay for Hobson and Swiss to perform in Red Deer. And then I asked them, they got the hotel and everything, and I asked them, I had only $100 left in my pocket, and I asked them, I said, what do you guys need, as a rider? And I'm praying to God, please don't ask for alcohol, cigarettes, and everything else, and women, hookers. I don't know. I only got $100, man. And I'll never forget Hobson when he says, you know what? I'm cool with 2 Subway subs with extra pickles.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. And I'm heading out the door like,
you're like,
okay,
I got
anything
you.
Else? And like basically
hoping
so they
don't say anything,
yeah. And I'm out the door, and I grabbed it, and I was like, thank God. And the coolest moment is I doubled my money that night from everybody that came. And it was just a beautiful, and it got me hungry for more. And then I started doing shows to give back to my community, because I'm like, man, I made all this money, $4,000. It's time to give back. So I would do hip hop for cancer shows. I would do hip hop for the food bank, the women's shelter, and I still, those are still, I still hold those dear to my heart today, and I still donate as much as I can. But it just got me hungry for more, and it was like unity in our city. It was a beautiful time for the hip hop scene in Red Deer.
Which year was this, do you think?
This would have been about, I would say, 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because things have changed.
Yeah,
let me tell you,
things have really changed
since COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even want to bring that C word up. But.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure we both feel the same way about it. I'm getting that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I was going to ask you though was, what's the hip hop scene like now? So before we go into it, I actually, because I want to shout them out.
Yeah.
Shout out Dibs and MKG.
Yeah,
I know both of those guys.
Oh, cool.
Do you know them as well?
Yes, I've heard of Dibs.
Oh.
I've done a show with Dibs.
Really?
Yeah, he's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, so Dibs was on 2 of my episodes, and
cool.
MKG came on 1 too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my earlier one. So
Awesome.
it was really cool. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah.
But anyway, so I just wanted to get into that a bit more. What's the scene like now? How has it changed?
Yeah, everybody's doing their own thing. So we'll still meet up and do shows together, but I will say it kind of makes me sad because, like I said, there was so much unity before, and now everybody's just doing their own thing, even myself. So it's kind of like, unless they're on the show, they are not going to go to the show.
Oh, okay.
So it's starting to, get saturated with the hometown love. And I always say this to everyone. If you don't have love in your own city, they're not going to love you anywhere else. So I think that
do you really think that?
I do, because if you're just, well, I mean, you could go to
sometimes
California and start a new life, but, and I mean, that's just something, because if you weren't liked in your city, and you went, let's say, to Calgary, well, it's just going to bleed on to Calgary and say, oh, I wouldn't work with that guy, or that girl, whatever. And you'd have to move, like, where nobody knows your name.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by that, and more realistic. If you move to Toronto and, people are connected all around, they might say bad things about you. So that's one thing that I made sure to do, is make sure that my city supports me.
Right.
And I would love to do a reunion show where all the local hip hop artists come together, because I miss it and I miss them. And but things have changed, even in the Calgary and Edmonton hip hop community. Groups are breaking up, and it's just not the same vibe. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and
Okay.
I get that vibe. with the hip hop community. So I'm hoping one day we can all come together, and because you used to be able to do shows with local artists and it would sell out. If you do a show with a local artist, it is going to be hard to sell out these days because they've already seen it and the unity's not there. So somehow we got to bring that unity together, because Calgary and Edmonton has helped me out so much in they have helped me out immensely. There's so many people to name in Calgary and Edmonton. There's so many that have helped me, and even they're kind of taking a step back because I think the politics in hip hop are kind of, leaving a bad taste in their mouth. It's becoming more about money and not about the talent. So I think I'm hoping that we can get back to more of a unified hip hop where it was hip hop, and if you were dope, that's how people knew you.
Yeah.
Not how many tickets you sold.
So it's meritocracy instead of marketing.
Yes.
So what do you think that the community could do to start making the right steps?
Well, it's got to start with us. So it's got to start with us connecting with each other, and kind of letting our ego aside, because it seems like who's doing what now and who's doing this, and everybody's just doing their own thing. Whereas before, everyone came together. You had a show, they were there, and that goes for me too. I'm to blame too, I just want to come more together. I don't know what it's going to take, but I know it starts with us. So we're going to need to get on that phone and say, hey, let's do a reunion show.
Yeah,
and
you
see
should.
What happens.
Yeah, keep me posted on that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Come down to Red Deer. We'll show you a good time.
I help build communities as well, so we can always talk about that in the future. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really?
So I help build communities on school.
Oh, wow.
And then I also help get people famous on YouTube and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So I don't get famous on YouTube.
You get a piece of
somebody who's got talent and a following.
Yeah.
I can help them scale all their content.
Oh, wow.
And make sure that they're being represented properly. We can
cut the podcast. I'm talking with him about that. My new agent, everybody. Meet my manager.
No, for real. We'll talk about this later for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely interested in that.
Yeah.
So let me, I was going to ask you some. Oh yeah. So what was, at your time, like, was there a group or a rap artist or something like that was really killing the scene?
Yeah. Like locally?
Yeah.
Everyone was. I can't really just say one, 'cause there's just so many, like, in Calgary, there's so many female hip hop artists as well, that are amazing. They're all amazing. They're not a huge bunch, but as a group, I would say the one that I love the most from Alberta is, his name is Kripel. He's a local hip hop artist out of Edmonton, and he's just killing it right now. Like, he's doing so much. He's touring like Germany and places like that, and he used to have a group called Doom Squad, and they used to put out ciphers every month, and they were just always so raw and talented, man. I just enjoyed seeing them. So I would say they're the biggest group back in the day in Alberta, but there is many others. I'm just saying probably that's my favorite. But like I said, group wise, more people are just kind of doing the solo thing. I would say. I can't think of one hip hop group right now that are together that are like doing tours and stuff like that in Alberta.
I was gonna ask you about. So obviously, I know a little bit of the differences, but I think you would be the best to tell the audience like the difference between like drill music and hip hop and rap, and really like differentiate the couple of genres. So I was wondering if you could start with drill music and like UK grime, because like cause nobody really understands them, but I kind of like the UK grime sometimes.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not my cup of tea, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've heard some the new genre, like I'm an old school hip hop woman, so I'm not blasting that drill on the way to my next show.
Yeah, I bet not.
I'm blasting, Jadakiss, Nas, DMX, DMX, the
Oh, I
Locks
love DMX.
and yeah, so I mean, you're not really going to get that kind of
Right.
stuff from me, but you know what? They have a huge following and
Yeah.
people love them, and I love what they're doing cuz it's different.
Yeah.
And it's not the same stuff, right? And like I don't know what it is, but what I can say about the music today versus back in the 80s is it's just not the same. And
No,
I don't
it's
know
not.
what it is. I can't pinpoint the exact reason. Is it the producer? Because the producers that have made the hits back in the day are still producing. They're just not producing the same. They are. I mean, it's quality music, but it just doesn't hit like the 80s. And it's like, have we changed? Is that what it is? Has the beats changed? I don't know. I can't pinpoint why the music has changed so much since the 80s till today, and it's just not hitting like it used to.
I know.
I can't pinpoint it. I can't. If someone out there knows, tell me, please.
I have a few theories.
Okay, talk to me.
So one, the beats were better back then, and I
Yes.
think it's because Dre kind of owned the beats industry
Yeah.
back then. You know, he was running Snoop Dogg, he was running Eminem.
Eminem.
Like he's had
Yeah.
all the
Death
top
Row.
guys,
Yeah,
right?
Death Row,
Yeah, the whole Death Row records. So him at his peak, and he's just completely elevated the bar from 0 to 100 at the
100%.
time, right?
Yeah.
So I think everything since then, like the jump hasn't been as impressive. I also have noticed that, and maybe it's also their voices have changed as a like side effect, but I've noticed that gangster music has gone from being about selling drugs to being about doing drugs.
Yeah, that's
And
a good
I
point.
think this is very important to realize too, because of how it could influence kids, right?
Yeah, and the youth.
So you have kids overdosing on all these drugs and
Yeah.
stuff, and these rappers don't even do these drugs to begin with, right?
yeah.
They're just singing about them. So it's dangerous.
It is, yeah, dangerous. And like we gotta maybe that's why back in the day the music was so, you know, the beats were richer, everything, the gangsta music was gangsta, but they
it was
weren't
cool.
rapping
It
about
was
drugs.
hard, yeah.
They were rapping about drugs, but
in a G way,
in
not-
a G way that we liked not doing them, because we gotta be there for our youth. That's really huge for me too. In the music industry is helping the youth out, and I make songs too, helping the youth. So yeah, it's changed. Like I said, I can't really pinpoint it. You like you said, it has changed. We're getting older. The producers are getting older. Like I don't know if people know this, but Dr. Dre, I was watching an interview. He spends hours on just a song. Like he makes music every day. Every day. He has thousands of unreleased songs. People just think he's out in Belize just, getting his dick sucked. But he's not. He's making beats. Shout out Dre, man, sign me. But he's making beats every single day. He's doing music. Like his last CD was Compton. Oh my God, one of the best production and the best. Like it was so good. Like I love that CD. If you get a chance, download that CD Compton from Dr. Dre. It is so good, and I believe that it didn't get enough recognition because it is so good. The beats, the lyricism in it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Did that
Beautiful.
come out before Chronic 2001?
It came after.
After?
Yeah, like this was like, I would say 6 years ago it came out.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
it was his newest project.
Oh, I'll check
yeah,
it.
and Snoop and Dre got a new project which is releasing, I think, Monday. Yeah, so that we got it, and I've already heard a song on it, and they're taking us back to the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, man, that G-Funk defied beat. Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I really like Snoop Dogg because of his personality, especially.
My God. If you don't like Snoop Dogg, stay the fuck away from me. Because
You have a problem.
Yeah, man, Snoop
Something
Dogg
wrong with
is
that
a
guy.
G. He's a
Yeah.
G.
Well, he's always doing those funny little side missions.
Yeah, like cooking.
When he was, cooking with Martha
Stewart.
Stewart. And the whole Martha Stewart thing was hilarious too,
It
right?
was.
She's
It was
just like
so funny.
the wholesome, the
Yes.
wholesome mother.
Yeah, they're meant to be with each other. Like one's a Libra and the other's a Leo. They just go together so well, and
Yeah.
I just love watching them.
That's so funny.
And he's like a coach. He's got his hand in everything.
Yeah.
He's the voice now, a coach on The Voice. Like he's doing amazing things.
He did a movie as well. I forget.
Yeah,
what it,
Snakes
did you
on
see
a
it?
Plane.
No,
He did
he did this other one recently where he was like the coach of like a youth soccer team or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
he
heard
was just
about
trying
it.
to hook up with a mom or whatever.
Perfect role for Snoop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Right on.
So you also did shows up in Edmonton too, you were saying, right?
Yeah, I've done a few. Yeah.
Do you do any outside of Alberta, or have you done any
Yeah.
outside of Alberta?
Not really, actually. I've pretty much stuck with Alberta. I want to branch out for sure, but yeah, it's one thing that I really want to do. But unfortunately, I also have a full-time job that is also important to me.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to balance both, because if I did go on tour, I'd have to take a leave of absence from my job. So I would say that is the hardest thing about being a hip-hop artist and wanting to do it full-time. You got to pay bills, right? So
Exactly.
I do know a lot of musicians in Alberta that do just music, and I don't know how they're paying the bills. I mean, because Spotify doesn't pay much.
I know.
I mean, you can only do so many shows and get paid, and so I salute those people. Salute to you guys doing that full time. Like, there's an artist in BC Junk. He's doing that full time touring. So I would love to do that. If the right cards are played in front of my face, and give up my job, but I also love my position and my job and what I do. So it's really hard balancing everything,
Yeah.
but I do it. And I truly wish, I could get signed and, pay my house off. Well, buy my mom a house. That's number one.
Yes, that's the whole goal, right?
Yeah, that's the
my
only goal. Before I
Yeah.
die, that's the only thing I want to do, is just present my mom with a new huge house or a new car, whatever. And I mean, it's doable, but that's all I want to do before I die. But I do have a career on the side, and I am balancing all of them.
So I didn't ask you about your career because I usually don't really I usually just ask someone like what they're passionate about or what like makes them happy, and I just kind of figure out what they do later on.
Yeah, for sure.
But since you said you like it and stuff, what do you do for work?
Well, I work for the city of Red Deer, so
Okay.
I serve my community.
Nice.
So
good for you.
That is huge for me too. So hip hop is huge for me, and also serving my community is huge. So I love both of them. And so I don't know if there's a rule book in life telling you have to do music full time or do your career full time, but I'm doing both and I like it. I'm doing shows when I need to. They support me if I need to take time off to do a show or podcast. And I love both. There's no rule book saying you can't do it. However, things get put out a little bit slower than the average person putting songs out, right? So, and I mean, you're only as good as your last hit. So you got to really, try and balance the both. And I've been doing that for the past 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've really been pushing it hard and making sure it all works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I was going to also ask you what your plans are from here moving forward before we grab your sick recording. So we got about 5 minutes, but I really wanted to make sure that I get to know what your next plans are. And we'll go from there.
So I will be dropping a new CD. It's going to be very special. The idea and concept came to me when I was working out, and I'm like, man, this is different, but I'm going to do it. And so be on the lookout for that. The release date is December 25th, but things come up, delay in Spotify, Apple Music. One of my friends released a hip hop CD a couple weeks ago, and there was a delay. So I'm trying to get it for the 25th. And it's going to be in your hands. And I'm old school. I don't even actually like putting my music on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. I like giving you a physical CD. And I just wish that I can do it that way. But unfortunately, if you want your music heard, you have to go the avenues of YouTube and Spotify. And I hate all that. It has nothing to do with money or anything. I'm computer illiterate, that too. And I'm old school, and that's what I want. I want people to have the physical CD. I don't want them to just listen to it on the phone. I know today's technology is way easier to use, and that's the way we should be going. And trust me, it's helped people as well. But the CD is going to be in your hands. by December 25th.
Awesome.
And I'm so excited. And, just more shows. And I'm hoping to go on tour in the new year and get a leave of absence for my work and go on tour. That's my dream. Like I want to, I know I can go tomorrow if I wanted to, but it's a huge step to go on tour. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, like the travel and stuff. And I know guys that are doing it and they're doing an amazing job. Like my buddy Robbie, he's huge. He's a promoter and he's a hip hop artist and does shows and he's an entrepreneur. Like he's one of the hardest working guys I know. And he does shows. He goes on tour. He'll be in Red Deer, Classified. Shout out to Classified. He'll be in Red Deer opening up the show there. So, he's always touring with Obi Trice and all the big acts. And I don't know how he does it. But that's one day I would like to go there. But right now, my latest CD is going to be out and everyone's going to love it.
Do you know what it's called, or have you named it yet?
Yes,
Do you want to drop the name?
I will drop the name. $100. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so I did have two names, and one of my friends told me it's probably not the best name. So what I originally called it was God is Good. And because God has blessed me and my family so much with health, and I've gone through some crazy stuff this last couple of years. We won't get into that. But and I just praise God for everything that he has done for me and my family. So I wanted to name it that. And then someone told me, it's probably not a good idea because you got people that don't believe in God.
Right.
So you might, miss out on some fans and stuff
True.
like that. And I said, well, I don't care. I mean, it's me. It's what I want. And I mean, and then they kind of talked to me, and then I thought about it. I'm like, you're right. I don't want to, leave out the people that just, believe in whatever they believe in. And I don't care what anyone believes in. You treat me good, I treat you good. That's my motto. But I was like, I really like that name, and I was so set on it. And so then I changed it to The Good Old Days. And so it's going to be about the good old days. So, skateboarding, coming home when the light poles come on. That's what time you went home. The good old days when your friend, how you found your friend was their bike was on their lawn. That's how you knew they were home. There was no Facebook. There was no. Yeah. So it's going to be, the CD cover is going to be all that and me when I was a little girl. And it's really cool. So I'm really excited for this project. And
I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to hearing what